So I had a conversation yesterday with an older guy who, his name is George Pransky. You can look him up. He started, I think he started, or he's certainly a big name in the Three Principles kind of, I don't know, it's called the Three Principles. It's a kind of system, a psychological system. So we had a chat, and we're going to have some more chats. And I told him about my current philosophical taking on life and my opposition to life and my problem with sentience. And after a long explanation, the first thing he had to say was that he thinks that I'm depressed, which I kind of don't resonate with at all. I've come across people who are clinically depressed, and they behave very differently to the way I do. And so, yeah, I just wanted, and he was asking me about joy. He's speaking about joy and suggesting that joy is the kind of natural base which we all could be coming from. He was speaking about joy. So I know you had some thoughts about joy and depression.
Yeah, we'll take it apart nicely. So the word, let's have a look at the depression, yeah? Now I think Jim Carrey's done a good job of taking that word apart. He says deep rest, depressed, deep rest. So in other words, he's saying there's nothing much. You shouldn't demonize depression. You should see it for what it's trying to bring to you, which is deep rest. A time for consideration, a time maybe for reorientation. There's a part of your life that might not be going right. You're off the rails, but you can't see it without depression. Depression brings it to you. It shows it to you clearly. You're depressed. You're having deep rest. So you can consider something. And then maybe on the back end of that deep rest, you can see a way out now. You've managed to see. You go for a walk in depression, or you lay down in depression. There's nothing wrong. Accept the deep rest. Acknowledge it as that. Don't demonize it and try to get rid of it with medication and everything. Give it a time. There are some forms of it where it's completely gripped you and it's taking you down, you see, and there's no way you're coming up. But still, I would say give it time. My father experienced depression. He had deep rest. He was deeply resting in depression. And so the medics felt it necessary after a while of him being in deep rest to revive him. So that's where the medication comes from, and the electric shock treatment, to jolt you out of your deep rest because it's going down too far, it's taking you to death. So you have to be skilled as a practitioner to see where enough's enough of the deep rest, and it's not actually working. But most of the time it's deep rest you're experiencing. So that's that part, you see, the depression. Even if you've got depression, it's deep rest. You require deep rest, there's something wrong. You're overworked, you're being strained, you're being asked to do things, maybe perform in a way that you can't. Maybe your parents are asking you to perform in a way that you're just not able to. You're not that animal. You've got a different wiring and they're asking you to perform on a stage. You can't. Some people are very shy. They come that way. That's a disposition. So they should be doing internal work. Maybe they're very good at, of course they are. They're going to be very good at something. But the parent hasn't got time to probe and find out and tune in so that they can place you in the right place or direct you in the right way. So they force you to do something that they would love you to do. See, they're living vicariously through you. So all of these things we understand. So that's that one. The joy part now, it was leveled at Danny by this lady who's kind of taken the role of mentor with his daughter. And she was, you know, they used it. It wasn't her first. I mean, the guy, the George guy, he leveled it. He said to Danny, is he aware of joy? Because he holds that himself as one of his, you know, reasons, his raison d'etre. He said it's joy and well-being. You see, joy and well-being. And then he accused Danny of being depressed. He doesn't feel any joy in his life. He doesn't feel that Danny's a joyous person. Now, I would say, myself, personally, speak from and I think Danny would echo this, we're overjoyed. We are overjoyed. Why? Although our message may seem somber, And it may seem to an average person to be a form of depression because they don't understand the concepts. They haven't got the time or the wherewithal, or they can't be bothered to consider it and go and look up the materials and study it and see if there's any merit to it. They just dismiss it immediately, and then you get this ad hominem attacks. Oh, you're just depressed. This is very pessimistic. No, it's not. It's realistic. And we're overjoyed to be able to push off the magnetic pull of life and the earth. See? This is why wouldn't we be? We've woken up. We've woken up from the drug that DNA is. That's a reason to be overjoyed. Beautiful. There's a sadness to it though, because everyone else is asleep. Everybody else is asleep. You find yourself in an asylum. You're the first one to rise. Have a look at a film on this theme called Passenger. It's a good one. It's a sci-fi. It's not a very good film, but the message is very good if you interpret it the way that I'm going to invite you to, which is that you are in the film, it's people that are in these chambers and they're on a long, deep voyage into space, and it's going to take many years, say hundreds of years maybe, and they've been cryogenically frozen. They're in there. They're arrested so that they can get there to the place and then start a new colony on the planet. And what happens is there is a meteor storm that the ship travels through, and it disturbs one of the chambers and it opens prematurely. And one of the passengers wakes up premature. And when he looks at what's going on and, oh, wow, he sees how long he's got left. It's, I think, 100 years or something left to complete the voyage. So he's left on his own in the ship, and everybody else is still under. So he's got nobody to relate to. No, he's alone by himself. Terrible loneliness. And that's the state you find yourself in as an abolitionist in this planet. Terrible loneliness. You've woken up. You shouldn't have woken up. DNA's design is that you never wake up. You continue to produce people here and bring them into the prison that life is. You see, the penitentiary that life is, the incarceration that life is. It's not intended that anyone wakes up, but for some quirk, you've woken, see? And if you're lucky, if you find a fellow that you can travel along with in life, see? You're lucky if you find a few people that you can resonate with that are also awake. So this is a reason to be overjoyed, not to be depressed. Why would you be depressed if you're one of the very few rare ones that have woken up? And now your job on the back end of waking up, you could say, oh, we fall into depression. You may as well kill yourself because there's so few of us. We've got no community. We may as well check out. No. Why? Because you're here to represent truth. Now you've found the truth and you've woken. What a beautiful situation. Now your job solely, you know what to do now. You've got your mission. Transmit that truth. You're here to transmit that truth. Now you've got your purpose. There's no use to ones who are awake killing themselves. Why? Then the truth will never be known here on this planet. It will continue on and on infinitum. Ad nauseam. Production, 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 with all these predators preying on you within the prison. Elon Musk and his gang bring in robots soon as companions for us. Robots. It's ridiculous. It's madness. If people can't see in a couple of years' time that this is madness, then they're never going to see. When these nut job elites, so-called elites, bring their world, see? When they manage to roll out their rubbish on the planet. He's already done a good job of rolling out his crap. See? When he finishes the job, surely now the masses will see you're in a penitentiary. You'll see it soon. See? Locked, tracked, blockchained. Look at all the words. Blockchain. That's going to be the monetary system of the future. What does it mean to be on the chain gang? When they finish their game, you'll soon understand it's a penitentiary. Okay, have a look. Track and trace, digital currency, so everything's monitored, robots to escort you everywhere, just in case you do the wrong thing, like embrace somebody spontaneously. See? The robot assistant will be there to stop that heinous behavior. Human contact, it's called. My dad told me a great thing when I was young. He said they've moved away from dances where you actually can make contact with the women. And now we're in the age of discotheques. See? What did he mean? Disconnection. Look, what a prophetic statement. Look, we're in the age now. You can't talk to a woman. That's a crime. You can't talk to anybody. It's a crime. If you talk to a woman now, it's a crime. Any words you use are being monitored to see if it spikes up as an offence. See, this is the world they're leading us into. Lockstep. Everybody's going, you see, because we're losing our soul. We're losing the ability to even see what's going on around us. And that's what they've been designing into us. Lovely. See, first of all, slavery hasn't gone away. That's why I say abolitionism is the right word, not antinatalism. That gets people's back up. Abolitionism shouldn't get anyone's back up. Why? Because it's the attempt to bring liberation here to a situation of imprisonment. Abolition is still going on. It should be. But the people are soul destroyed, so they march towards any tune they march to now. They dance to any tune. It's a shame. Why? Because the kids are born with iPhones. Little babies have got devices to look at while they're in the cot. See, this is what they've been rolling out. It's done. Listen to Tristan Harris. He's been trying. He looks weathered and haggard now. You know why? Because he's taking it all on. See, the mountain that it is, he's trying to fight these people on his own. He's a David, see, with the Goliaths that they are. Have a look at his presentation, his recent ones. He looks tired now, worn out. Have a look at him on Diary of the CEO, the interviewer there. Have a look at his latest interview with Stephen Bartlett, I think it is, on CEO. You'll see it. He looks very tired because it wears you out. So he's fighting on his own, but this is what's happening. You see, so come back to the point. We are overjoyed. We are overjoyed. Have a look at what the word joy means as well. George, the man who used it, I bet he doesn't know the etymological meaning of the word joy. I bet he hasn't taken the time to look up. He's just using it. See, well-being and joy, he said, are essential. I agree. Danny would agree. When he understands what it means. Overjoyed. What does joy mean? To be glad. That's what it means etymologically. To rejoice. That's what joy means. Now, why is Danny not? Danny's glad that he's woken up. Danny's rejoicing that he's overcome DNA. I think it's a state where you would say Danny's overjoyed. The joy is brimming over that he's managed to overcome the world, push it off like a martial artist. He's succeeded. He's come here and pushed off the whole thing and seen through life and exposed it for what it is. That's a reason to be overjoyed. Where's the lack? I can't see where the lack is. I can see where it is. It's because they've got their version of joy running and they need to see that and they need to feel that frequency and they don't feel it in Danny because they haven't even bothered to consider what Danny's saying. So of course it's off-putting as a frequency. It feels like it's depression. It feels where they're in the presence of Danny that is, they feel friction. Of course, you should feel friction. He's attempting to wake you up from deep slumber that you're in. He's trying to wake you up from la la land. And of course it feels horrible when someone's shaking you when you're in deep sleep and you're having a lovely, blissful dream. And he's shaking you up and telling you to look at the monstrous stuff going on outside. Have you been down to the hospital and seen all the victims there? Have you been down to the train station and you've seen how many people have jumped under the train this morning? Which the guard told me when I came back from Danny's house. The train was disrupted and I can't get where I'm trying to go. And when I asked the guy what's happening, he said, "Oh, sorry, mate, we've had someone jump under the train." And I said, "My God, how can you imagine what it takes to do?" He said, no, they're immune to it now. There's 4 a day. He doesn't feel like me because he's working there all day long and he witnesses 4 a day. He's seen the mangled bodies there being scraped up. So he's immune now. There you go. That's the thing they're denying the people that are in joy, in their joy. They're only in the joy because they're not looking at the reality. They're in deep slumber. That's where they are. That's what joy means. That's generic joy that everybody's experiencing. They can only experience that state because they're in dream land, la la land, cuckoo land. See? Where's the depression? That's the depressed state. That's the depressed state. They've pushed down all of the reality. by denying it. That's the depressed state you can be in. You can't feel the generic joy if you're out the box, if you've woken up. It's too disgusting and heinous what you see around. And if you've got any empathy at all, it does trigger you, of course. But it doesn't trigger you to the state that you will want to kill yourself. You have to be more hardy than that, which we are. We're the ones who should be killing ourselves because we're completely awake. We're seeing it everywhere, the killing. We're walking along and seeing it under our feet, the insects that are being squashed. And not only us squashing them, they're killing each other. It's a complete war. It's a battlefield, the whole thing. If you look at it properly and examine it without your blinkers on, take off the rose tints, take off the rose tinted glasses and have a look at life. You'll see, expose it properly, have a look at it in its minutiae. Have a look down in the grass sometimes and see that the things have its head chomped off by something else. One insect's eating the live body of the other one. Have a look in the savannas, which we all portray as some romantic scape that we should be, oh, look at the wonderful, I'd love to go to Africa. Have a look. My dad's African. Have a look. Have a look at it if it's lovely. When the lion's chomping into the live body of the antelope. Have a look at it all and think and see if it fits the bill as a beautiful place. It does not. So we're overjoyed that we see it correctly. We're overjoyed that we're realists and we're not perverse pessimists or perverse optimists. We haven't got those diseases. We're realists. Overjoyed realists. Overjoyed.
Yeah, and I like the, that the etymology of the word joy is glad.
To be glad.
Right?
To be glad.
And that fits with what you're saying. I am glad, however painful it is, which it is.
Spoken.
I'm glad that I've seen it, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
I don't think so. I'm not. It's not hunky-dory.
No.
Of course not. Quite the contrary. That's why it's love. It's a transmission of love. The imbeciles that don't feel it that way, the problem's with them, not with us. It's love when you really understand what we're saying. We're saying, please, we beseech you, don't bring any more children in to the mincer that it is. Why? Because you want them to feel joy that you feel. No, even you don't feel it permanently. You're oscillating yourself and struggling. The one who wants the child to feel joy. You're bringing it in, I would suggest, because you want a plaything. You want something to play with. That shows that you've got lack in you. Why don't you feel joyous then when you're by yourself? You wouldn't even dream of having a child if you felt fulfilled, completely fulfilled. And you were completely in alignment with your inner child and you'd done all your inner child work and brought yourself up lovely and parented your own self. You wouldn't even dream of having a child because you'd have one, the one inside, as I keep saying. Why breed when you've already got a child to feed? There's one on board when you've come in, but it's been neglected. That's why you feel a need to produce another one, because you've completely neglected the one inside and you feel you've got to do your parenting job to be fulfilled. Why didn't you do it on yourself? If you did, it would cancel out the need to produce another one and bring another poor sod into the situation that you yourself have experienced. That's the irony. Still doesn't wake them up. You yourself have been through the mill, whoever it is I'm talking to, everybody. You've been through the mill. You've had to step up to the plate in regards to examinations. You've felt the stress of failure. You've had to press that off by performing properly and pleasing your parents. You've been through the mill. Even though you've denied all that and it's still worth it. It's worth the price to pay for the joy that we feel occasionally. No, it's not worth that. Not at all. It would be better if you didn't come here because you'd already be in the blissful state of non-existence. This is degraded state that you have to work yourself through in order to feel temporary joy. It's ridiculous. It's beneath me. If I had a choice, I would be not to be, because I know that's the ultimate state to be. Beautiful. Non-being itself. Being is a degradation to me. It's a perversion. How anyone can love it, God knows, because they've forgotten what was the case before. That's why. They've completely forgotten that. That's what happens. It gets erased when you come in. No baby can tell you, say anything. All it can tell you is when it emerged. That's all. It can't remember anything. It's been wiped, the memory. Because that's what the game is about. It's about keeping you here with joy. It's about keeping you here hijacked. So you can never see it. It's the ultimate Stockholm syndrome, as we said before. You fall in love with being when it should be the most heinous thing. When you wake up, you'll see it as such. William Blake said it. When the doors of perception or the portal of perception is cleansed, ye shall see the world as it really is. And he, with his romantic view, said, it will be wonderful. Love. No, when you wake up and the portal of perception is cleansed, you should see the world for what it is, a penitentiary that you should never have been brought into in the first place. That's realism.